change date was, it was supposed to be for Thursday, July 19th, we postponed it due to the, snowfall event. And it is, it's now being re-adjourned at Friday, January 20th at 9 AM. All three selectmen are present, town administrator is present, town official in the audience is a road agent, and recording for the citizens of Dunbarton is Mr. Leo Martell. Thank you, Leo. Okay, gentlemen, we get some minutes. I didn't get a chance to review the minutes because I came in late, so I'm gonna recommend we do it next Thursday. Is that okay? Table that for now? Consensus, okay? So we'll table it for next Thursday. All right, I'm going for public comment first. Ready?
I got a couple quick questions.
Sure.
So I don't have to take much of that. I'm thinking you're working on your budget.
Yes, sir.
Have you done the building maintenance?
Yes.
Did you?
Up it for your roof, yes.
Yes.
No, not the roof, the gas tank. Did you see the paperwork for what it cost to?
What was the final cost?
It was about
He
26?
He gave us an estimate of close to $40,000.
We did at least a 25% increase, which would,
It was an estimate
How
that
much
came
was
from,
it?
I think it was pretty close to $40,000.
But wasn't it incorrect for some reason, you had some things that you were gonna go
What,
back on?
there was two different opinions, he estimated it, that's what I wanted to explain to you. You want me to do it now, you want me to do it later?
no, you can do it now.
Okay.
There's a you have to have a 2-inch lip. The pad has to be, the concrete pad has to be 2 inches higher than the surrounding area. Well, the parking lot, when they originally put it in, they just put the parking lot right to the concrete pad that's there. So he had an estimate of lifting both the pumps up, all the fill things and stuff like that, and I told him, I said, we can cut the parking lot down. It would be way cheaper and
You have enough grade where there's no puddling going
Yeah,
on?
so I said, I left it, get together, get some grades and figure it out, but he turned in an estimate for all that other work, and I thought it was, maybe I'm incorrect, but I thought it was close to $40,000.
I think you're right.
It was a significant amount of money, it was like, whoa. Yeah, so, that's what I was thinking in my mind. It was, I didn't get it pinned down with it, but there was a significant amount of work to raise the pumps out. You know, you gotta hilty out the old fillers and all that, and I wanna try to avoid that at all costs.
I'm glad you reminded us, cause I did forget about that.
Yeah,
I
so-
put some in for your roof.
And we obviously get one price, I mean, for that. right?
Yeah, I think
Come
we
on.
had talked about that too, after seeing that
Yeah.
significant cost.
You know, it's not,
Other people.
he's always maintained our pumps and done all that, and we don't have any problem, but this is
It's
pretty
appropriate to get bids.
substantial.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's, the actual concrete pad, I do not think it doesn't have to necessarily, you don't have to be a gas guy to put it in or anything like that. But it's something we're gonna have to do to make the state happy.
And you would have to have the grooves in it, which
Yeah,
we
it's
don't
gonna
Yeah,
have.
3 grooves around.
Three
the
grooves
outside.
around the
There's
outside.
a-
I just suggested, why don't we plus up our budget $25,000, that line?
I mean, we, obviously, we don't wanna spend any more than we have to, but it was,
No,
the whole job was pretty
what I
expensive.
don't, last year we cut it tight.
Yeah.
On other projects, what I don't wanna is cut ourselves too tight and not
Yeah.
defer more projects, we can't defer.
Yeah, this is something,
Yeah.
either we're gonna have to shut the pumps down. The state, I mean,
Yeah.
they gave us some leniency, as long as we had a plan of the year and all that. It's a thing that they never used to enforce, and they've kind of gone through their rule books, and they've started enforcing a lot of these things that they never enforced before, and this is one of them has to do it. There was some argument about we wouldn't have to do it until we upgraded the system, but we couldn't get any traction on it.
Okay.
We're gonna have to probably do something. What was that number, if you don't mind me asking?
43.
Yeah, I thought it was 43, I did, it was a real eye opener when I got it.
That includes the concrete pad.
Yes, I believe everything that was needed.
And as you said, even if it's a concrete pad, that's not the major expense.
No, the other stuff is, I think, is the big
Yeah,
deal.
same thing, lifting everything up, even if we can. We plus the budget 25,000, from when we started with, I think that's really, the budget can absorb that much.
Okay, I just wanted you guys to be.
No,
aware.
I'm glad you did, thank you, I forgot about that too. Okay.
That's it.
Enjoy, interest in next week with the snowstorms, huh?
You wanna show that to
Yeah.
us?
Yes.
So far, so good.
Yep. We did get, just FYI, since you're here,
Mhm.
the there was a video chief of police shared with us. Shared with me, and I shared with the rest of the board, and he's copied you on it, just be situationally aware. That it was a private citizen plowing the right of way, and nothing to do with the town.
I heard something about it, I'll show you the email, okay, Chris.
But, just be noted, and, the only thing, there was some language in there which I'm a little concerned with, and, the chief of police is aware of my concern.
Yeah.
And, we just gotta be vigilant, okay?
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's fine.
But I was not a paid employee by the town to be doing that.
No.
Correct.
No, all the circumstances.
Okay. But that was my, assumption, and I confirmed it with, one of the residents there.
Yeah,
And
that's fine.
he reaffirmed it to me, and, so, I think we just, be vigilant, because I thought the video was, kind of supportive of the town's position.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna close public comment, let's get back into the warrants now. Lean, did you get some language?
We did, I spoke with Sean Hangway yesterday, and he said he would get this to me. I received it last night, and so, his comments are in red. He had nothing, any changes for 2, 3, or 4, and the question was on 5. And his response was the article is compliant with the requirements of RSA 3515, and naming agents authorized to expend. I
Okay.
see no legal issue with the language, my only comment is to set out the board of selectmen, so I did add that into the black, yellow highlighted,
Right, and that was it, kinda like, it's not one selectman, it's the board.
the board of selectmen,
Okay.
so if you see that that's okay with you, then that's the change.
That's appropriate.
Okay, so we're good with number 5?
Gentlemen,
These,
yes,
these numbers may change as I
Understood.
the whole warrant, but I just wanted to get the items that were reviewed by the town attorney,
okay,
because the remainder will be the operating budget. 6 and 7, he had no comments.
okay,
Number 8, the board at the time had changed it, from 25 to 20 for the highway capital reserve deposit, and I had not changed the
Okay.
wording 20, so
Got
that's been fixed.
he caught it, good.
No changes on number 9.
While you're on that one, and
Yes.
Jeff's here, Jeff, we're doing kinda like we did when we bought your truck, we're switching a little bit of both the transfer station and yours over to the fire department for just this 1 year. And the reason we did that was
So we
to,
said last year. So this'll be 2 years.
2 years for you.
I'm just
And,
razzing you. I understand.
That's why we're doing that.
I understand.
Hopefully, as part of our capital improvements program, we can stop having to switch so much, but, you know,
And just, talking about vehicles, since we're on a note, Justin brought up, your proposal, last week about potential, end of the year, next year, hiring a full-timer.
Yes,
And-
transitioning into that is.
And potentially getting a lease.
Yes, we did some preliminary checking on it, and it's possible, there's all kinds of programs that can be crafted.
We're looking at probably the last quarter of next year to put it in implementation, correct?
Well, this year.
This year.
23.
23.
And again, I've talked to him
Yeah.
since then,
We not talked about increasing the budget, but instead of going back and revisit, let's just leave things the way they are. We got, like you said, a bunch of other expenses, and if we get to that, we can make it work.
But the thing is, it's a working issue, put it that way.
Yes.
So we haven't thought about that, I just
Yeah,
wanted
no, I
to
know.
be here, make sure you knew about that, okay, continue.
Okay, so, number 9 had no questions, the board still wants to put that 5,000 into the capital reserve. Okay, and number 10 is to authorize the board to act as agents to expend from the land purchase capital reserve. There's quite a hefty, comment, so I'll let the board read that.
Well, we knew that, without seeking further approval. Okay, expend towards the purchase, okay, got it.
the RSA 41.14, did you give us a copy of that?
I did last week, and we have not adopted that.
Is the town meeting that, is that the one that I didn't want that gives us the authority to buy, sell, trade?
Correct, that's the one.
So it's my suggestion that we remove this warrant altogether then.
With the board.
Let's, if the town meeting is not adopted, then any of.
So I basically gave him the information of what you were attempting to do.
Right, yeah.
Where if the land opportunity purchase came in before and between town meetings, this would give you the opportunity to put a
What it
deposit.
states is without, it, the board of selectmen cannot have the authority, even if the voters voted on it, without going to the RSA. And I think the RSA gives the board of selectmen way too much power. It gives us the ability to buy, sell, trade, swap land anywhere within the town, and that was not my intention.
Okay,
And they tried to bring that into the town one other year, and I voted against it only because
there's been several attempts over the
Yeah.
years that I've seen in the town report, and they typically will get.
Well, I was seriously just thinking about it, if someone was, thinking about, they wanna make be a benefactor for the town, they're gonna wait to the town meeting. I really think that, I think if someone just wants to sell land and get out of
It's,
town, it's one thing, we're gonna lose the opportunity to someone who's just
I
wants to
agree
screw
with
the
you
town.
half-heartedly, and the reason why is because we've had situations before that people needed to turn something over quicker.
Right.
For other reasons. So,
Exactly.
extenuating circumstances, you never know what comes up, and a lot of times those parcels of land come up at a moment's notice because somebody either passed or something changed, or there's typically stuff in there that goes deeper than that, but
Okay.
I would suggest taking this warrant all the way off, if,
Just support that.
So we're just gonna scratch number 10?
yeah, because I never wanted that RSA to be part of it,
Okay,
so that's my own thought.
We have consensus.
You do? Okay.
okay, number 11 is the milfoil warrant, no changes, no questions. And then number 12, for the cemetery fund, he had comments on that. And that was to, close out and withdraw the $12.74.
So, we went out this morning
Oh, now just close it out and goes to the town, in other words, the motion would be to close it out completely,
And just go into
the general fund.
the general fund.
I have no problem, it's only $12, I have no problem with that.
So,
You wanna can you rewrite that to transfer these funds to the general fund?
so see the town vote to close out cemetery maintenance care fund establishment. And just scratch that next one,
So, Mr. Nebraska was there.
the next line.
And we're transferring these funds to the general fund,
It was, I think that,
correct? We wanna know where they're going.
Consequently, the language of authorizing status appears to require that any remaining funds be deposited into the general fund. So that's how it should be.
That's the language we wanna put it in.
Right there. Into,
Concur? It's an easy,
yeah.
well, about to.
So what?
If you read the last sentence, instead of transferring into the trust fund, into another trust fund, the fund, by the statute he pointed out, it's gotta go into the general fund of the town. We're talking about $12, I think we spend too much time on that, just let it go into the general fund. Agreed?
Yeah, put it in the general fund.
Agreed, just close it, okay.
any remaining funds be deposited. Okay, so I will work on the last part of that article to
So I don't know
read
if,
any remaining funds to be deposited into the general fund.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, 13 now.
13, that was again another request of the cemetery trustees.
Change your seat of the funds to this, just to the sale of cemetery lots.
So I think it's a wrong RSA, so the authorization statute, RSA 289-2A, only allows for the proceeds of the sale of cemetery lots. So this is the wrong reference of an RSA statute, it's very specific.
And I would consider scratching this one.
Related to the cemetery lot, to be incorporated into the trust fund. You can change the receipt of the funds to just the sale of cemetery lots, which we already have.
I was gonna say, we already got
And
an
you would
account
be
for
in
that.
line with the statute. So, I guess there'd be just a follow-up question, that we already have that he's trying to do is get the
Right,
proceeds.
we're gonna exit.
Yeah.
The cemetery.
If it's not allowed to,
Scratch it?
Yeah,
if we're not allowed to do that,
Right,
I mean, I would just follow up and make sure that we're not allowed to do that.
yeah, I think it's because he's referenced the
Make sure
RSA, which is wrong.
I would
The
use
only thing you could ask me is there another RSA that you could do
Option,
that?
or do you remove the RSA?
I'm thinking he would have said that.
I would have
And make
thought
sure
it
he
too.
understands what, or if we would have to separate two accounts, so that it would be for the lots.
I think it's the same as the
Lot sales and
select
benches and-
you have to have an RSA that it references in order to do it, you just can't do it.
Right, and that's why we're, we're trying to be sensitive to what people are there.
I think I'd say exit and then,
and give courtesy to Don, let him know what's going on. In the cemetery, when I say Don, I'm talking about cemetery trustees, let them know what's
Yeah,
going on.
cause I think the biggest thing was because of the sale of the benches and everything like that.
They
Yeah,
lapse technically at the end of the year if you don't make a purchase. And it makes a very difficult accounting, tracking to encumber, to carry over, and if you're doing the bench and not engraving, how do you hold that money that someone paid for services until the service gets done?
right.
So it's a real tracking issue.
Scratch it.
So they could.
I would like to see it another way if we could do that, if we could.
Okay, I can
Follow
ask
up a
him,
question
it may
and
be
see.
just to scratch that RSA, because it does say RSA 3119A allows you to establish,
Seems like it'd be an easier way of counting for them to
get-
hand the money over,
right, take it out of our
for
hands.
us as a cemetery, being on that board.
All right, the thing is, scratch as written, but just if you can research it a little bit, without killing
Without
ourselves.
going crazy, yeah.
Well, I don't, this is late in the year.
Yeah.
This should have been researched, in my opinion, 2 months ago.
And my understanding is you've gone to the charitable trust meeting and you'd asked the question.
Yeah.
And he said that they could establish, not
Yeah,
an
this was-
expendable trust, so that's what I was
Correct.
working there.
So he could get some guidance from that.
Well, that's what I was
Yeah.
saying.
Okay,
So he's gonna have to know that.
it's gotta go quickly, because we're running out of time.
He will.
Okay. All right, 15,
15, again, he just had a comment, to correct,
numbers.
yeah, that would have been a number 14, my renumbering wasn't working well. But he also made a comment,
Editorial comments.
which is really nothing, but, it says, by the DRA, if you follow their advice, just, it would be fine.
Their wording did look a little odd when you read it.
I know, and
It
so,
doesn't look right to me
Yeah.
either, but.
and that's why there's the other option for all veterans that was even more confusing, and if it affected the totally disabled veteran, if there was anything related to that, so,
Yeah.
no
Okay.
comments.
I think we got it down, except that the only one we're depending on is that the cemetery trustees wanna come up and sign. But the thing is, can't wait till the 9th hour.
Yep, yep,
If we don't
When's your
have to
deadline?
by next week.
I have to look at my
Okay.
sheet, I
That was
haven't got it
easy.
in front of me. But it's coming up quick, and then these are also required for the MS forms that I have to, fill out for the town report.
No good.
And, they include the numbers from the warrant, so.
Get the pointer, Carl.
we need to do that, so.
All right,
Okay, at last week's meeting, the board had asked me to, double check my medical and dental. And, it appears that some of the notes that were remaining from prior year's sheet,
That was on this graph, Lee?
correct. They were correct in that, the numbers I had in the expense report were correct. So, if you look at column H, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 employees who are medical plans. The highlighted in the peach are the 2 new police officers, but I had adjusted it to a 9 months, and I verified that. And then go into column N with the peach highlighted, again,
Do
that's
we have
9.
new officers?
no, not yet.
Right, and that's why I couldn't justify increasing my budget on the medical side for 12 months, when we're closing in on 3 months past, so I budgeted for both dental and for family on the lower plans,
So that 103 is the 9 months.
is the 9 includes,
Okay.
12 months and 2 weeks at 9 months. So then I verified the stipend totals, so my medical and stipend budget, I think actually went up very slightly, it was 112, 188, which is what I've entered, and then the, dental would be accurate. The report report that I gave you today on the expenses does not include all those notes that I put in between accounts, so it's a little bit quicker to review. I don't think that we need to look at them, the board had asked me to verify those numbers. And that is on my medical, let's see, health. So those corrected numbers are accurate in the personnel administration on page 2 at the bottom.
Starts at page 2 of the line.
Yeah. And
It
then,
continues to page 3, okay, got it.
I can get the board to confirm on the police department, I believe that was one of the only changes. I don't know if I reduced that, I have to look at my notes. Do you recall if it was less than,
Mike reduced it by the 9 months is what that was reduced because of.
is that the original one? I may not have touched that number, 341, 342? You know,
Where page you on?
on page 4, halfway down, it's just a full-time control on the, I can go get my name.
Okay, take your time, okay. No, the thing is,
Remember we reduced it to 9 months on.
I want to, we want
Building
to,
officer.
right, we want to give him a little latitude, so in case he had an increase,
It was only a couple $1,000.
right.
2 or 3 thousand.
But the thing is, it's all about taxpayers' dollars, we're just trying to be vigilant here. What we're doing, just for the record, we have vacancies in the police department, and, the police chief is trying to hire sometimes if we budgeted entry-level police officers. And sometimes he can get lucky and get one fully trained who wants to transfer in, it requires a higher salary. So, rather than cutting both entry positions to 9 months, we're cutting only one position to 9 months and keeping a 12-month salary, so if he has to up a salary, he's got the flexibility in the budget.
All right, I thought about that last night. You had requested I reduce the full-time line by 10,000.
Correct.
Which I had not entered into this budget worksheet.
Okay?
So the bottom line for that department, again, on page 4, will be down by 10,000, so minus 10,
So it's a three
it's
thirty-one,
5, 4, it should be 532, 310. I apologize for that.
No, that's what
Where are you? I'm on
page 4,
On page 5,
No, this one here.
at the very top, is where I would total it.
page 4.
Five, you got that?
You got to switch in the other plan there, look.
Right, the police department starts on page 4 and it finishes at the very top of
Keep going.
page 5, so I've just subtracted
10,000.
10,000 from the 542, 310,
Gotcha.
brings it down to 532,
Got it.
310. And I don't believe there are any other changes
Correct.
in the budget.
So it's just that full time, that went down 10,000?
Yeah, so if I subtract 10,000 from the bottom line on page 8, it would be minus 622.
First 22,
It would be 32220
Oh, boy.
10, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Lottery numbers.
that's what we want.
Lottery numbers?
I think we better change the budget back, cause that number's not right.
What's the numbers?
Mess us up all year long.
What's
Too many twos.
Too many twos? Well, are we increasing it for the building
We
maintenance?
wanna talk about that now.
Okay, so,
Let's go back to building maintenance line.
okay. The board had decided to increase it, well, we budgeted 200 for that line.
Three?
Page,
That's on page 3?
page 3. Yes, now I'm gonna go, gentlemen, I'm suggesting 225. Give us an extra buffer there. Because of the unanticipated expense that we may encumber with the pumps. Give us an extra $25,000.
One of you guys had talked about 250 at one point. Just
I
'cause
did
of
only cause
Because of the
fire
fire
department roof is gonna be
Jeff's roof, this roof,
250 then?
and the roof over there in
and
the
then
fire department.
now the gas pump, I
Too
think
expensive.
250 is
Safe,
safe.
so be it.
Might be another year have to push Jeff on. Just cause you come, Jeff.
Don't mention me.
adjusted,
3272010.
What's that to the bottom one, Lee?
3272.
so $3,272,010.
And what's the last end up being, you know?
The lapsing, is still, as of last night,
Yes, you did at the very bottom, 143,797.
no, that's an increase. If you look at the notes of the worksheet, budget worksheet page, last page, we have currently with that $2,645,000 is the actual from 2022, a lapsing of 143,797 as of this past week.
Yeah, that's what he was just saying.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
Oh, you did? Okay, I'm sorry.
No, we're basically, we're reaffirming all the numbers.
Okay,
That's good.
So the only thing that needs to change now is your percentage down the bottom.
correct. If I do that, minus 2,7,8,5,8,1,7 equals, this is now 4,877,1,3. Equals. It's 17.5%.
Okay.
Good.
That's done, and that's done, right?
Okay.
This is expenditures again. Revenues,
Okay. Okay, so there is some questions about, how we generate, a proposal for the revenues. Explain that there's a range of accounts that we work with.
hold on, tell me what page you on this one now.
In, what I did for you is I gave you guys detailed statement of accounts on the different funds that might explain some of the transactions that are not visible on the, accounts.
Yeah, so just tell us which one we're
Which
on.
document?
It's the group of single pages that are stapled together. So it's a detailed statement of accounts revenue.
Details, statement. Sure.
It starts with, 335300, which is highway block grant.
Okay,
Okay, so if you look at the very top, back in March, which is the date 3/11/22, we proposed a $70,000 budget that we worked with.
slow down, Lee, where are you seeing the date?
And halfway up, is these accounts that are single pages. Yeah. So you can see how you asked, why does this system do that where you can't see what we were projecting for a budget? So in January of last year, I put in an allotment for a budget of 90,000. DRA in October, which I entered in November 1st, told us we had to increase that budget by 12,432. So what we were looking at on the worksheet for the revenues showed the 102,432, so it was a little bit, it wasn't clear as to how.
We got the number, got it.
Right, and these are the detailed breakdowns of strictly the highway block grants. They come in 4 times a year, 2 from, prior year, and 2, they go from July 1st to June 30th, so they're overlapping 2 years. So
What is
that,
the, you listed the increase from prior year down below,
I had to put it in as,
2281.
I had to put it in as a separate journal entry, and when we set the tax rate.
Oh, so this, 2281 is covering the 12,000, is that what that is?
It's a 22 day.
Look at your column here on the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, you said it comes in 4 times a year, so I can see the 17, the 17,
Yeah.
27, 27, what's the 2281?
2281. Well, that's only, there's a break in each highway, block grant. It comes in as a highway block grant payment, and then it's a SB 367, which is flexible, goes up and down.
So it comes from different county at the state level.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, so that's how we budgeted 90,000, we set the tax rate in October, and we had to increase that budget by 12,432 to
Okay.
set the tax rate. And on the next one,
Yeah.
this is PILT, I had budgeted 3,000, when we set the tax rate, she said we had 288 more, I had to increase that budget line.
Right, floodplain.
Yeah, it's just, payment in lieu of tax, and it's based on the flood control area, it's a little extra funding that we get, aside
Okay.
from flood control. And then when we came to the flood control reimbursement, we had budgeted 70,000, DRA said, no, you didn't get that much, reduce it by 1,224, so that's where we came up with 68,776. Okay, and the next one, grant revenue, so, again, this is one of those, the 1,010 was our, grant that we knew about for milfoil. Even if we don't use it, we would actually lose revenue if we don't use it.
Where are you?
Little lean, we skipped over women names.
Rooms and meals. Oh, yeah, mine out of order. Rooms and meals. You have, I missed the rooms and meals. So you can see the same thing with the rooms and meals, we did 130 that we budgeted,
Okay,
and then they gave us the additional 130, whatever, I don't have that.
Not additional, it's just,
Oh, 131. So we had set our budget at 135, the DRA tax rate setting increased it to 131,662 for a total of 266,642. So you can see how that works. And you have next 5700, which is the flood control. Is that what we're looking at? I
No.
wanna make sure I'm not in.
you already did flood
you did
control.
flood
Oh,
control.
and the two.
We're into that one you were on the
3359.
335902, grant
Yes.
revenue?
Yep.
Okay, I must have had mine out of order. So originally, the $1,010 is the milfoil grant that we knew about, we had to put that in our, as anticipated revenue. And then the DRA set, a revised budget that we got a little bit of money from New Hampshire retirement, so that was the 7,053, so that increased our, setting amount. But if you look down below, the PD grant expense, it was actually a 2021, grant that the police department applied for in December.
Hold on, this is restricted, just let me make sure it's not the police department.
Okay.
Hello?
I did you say?
Okay. Get rid of that, sorry, Lynn.
That's okay. So if you look at the transaction in detail below, the first item dated January 31st was a PD, grant they applied in December. We received the revenue in, January, but the end of the year ends at December 31st, so this is technically surplus. This is revenue for our, that I would leave there. And then the, when we were discussing our budget back in February of 2022, Woody did say he had applied for a grant for New Hampshire the Beautiful. He was not sure if he was gonna get it, and he didn't know the dollar amount, so that 2019 is true revenue. So we'd already made the expense in 2021, that is true revenue. So then, the House Bill 221, New Hampshire Retirement, 8,883 are the combined transactions. So this particular line for actual revenues is true revenue. You see how that works?
Yeah, I thought there was more than that.
I made some adjustments and we'll go
Okay.
through them, because
Alright.
you wanted more
You went
clarity.
pretty,
I actually found an error where one transaction was posted to a liability account, so I made that correction. So it was a good review in my case. So then, the next transaction, which is 335910, you have that with
Yes.
you? Originally, I had, OHRB grant, PD, 50%.
Wait, one other question, Lean.
Yeah.
So that 12,481, that all is going into
That goes
our
into
general fund.
general fund, but the 7,000 of it was used as tax rate setting. So that's the difference of those, you see how?
see,
Oh, all on that one page, okay.
Yeah, the 12,481 less
Yeah.
the 7, but we never received the 10,010 either. So they're really, it's a moving target. You really have to know how we have to anticipate whether we get it or not, and if, there's
Yeah, but this
excess.
is good, because we can track it.
what was the 10,010 again?
That was the milfoil grant, and we
Milfoil
did
grant,
not
okay.
use, we did not receive any money from the state because we didn't use any divers.
Okay, got it,
Okay, so technically, if you take 8,063 from that 12, that's the true balance of
Okay,
their revenue.
just on the mill 4 grant, would that extra money go into their capital,
No, it actually is to offset an expense, so if a diver costs us $3,000, that money would go towards
just
the
clarity,
cost of
got it,
that diver,
got it.
so it's kind of like a pass-through.
Okay,
Are we at 3,359.10 now?
yes,
Okay, originally, when we reviewed the, revenues, the balance that was in that line was over $12,285, and what I found was the OHRV grant, which is a pass-through, and the 50% match body camera grant, which is a pass-through, was in this account, and I have moved it, so I will show you in a later account where I moved it to. So the true balance for this reimbursement is $125, and that's basically where the police department will do something and then get reimbursed from the court level, and that's a check we receive, and that's where that money goes.
Okay.
Okay, the next account, 340111, is that what you have?
correct,
Okay, so that one again, in detail, what does it include? We had a payroll tax, we paid the wrong line, and we paid more money than we were supposed to. And then we had New Hampshire retirement, payment, it was over $17.67, so that's how that.
those are more reimbursements then?
And then sale of town vehicle. We actually have two accounts, sale of town vehicle, we had sold two vehicles, the green one and then the
Which one was the green one, was it?
$800.
Okay.
It went to the junkyard,
Got it.
but they didn't ask for it, so that's true revenue for us. But on the other hand, when it came to the 2925, the chief asked for that money to go towards their capital reserve deposit. So you can see that 800 will lapse into the revenue, and then the 2925 board has approved it to go to the capital reserve. And then the next item is sale of town property. That one there actually comprises of, equipment from the town, which is,
From the transfer station, right?
well, there was three-step ladders, landscaping tools and blower, lawnmower, gallon oil tank, a trailer, fire hose, and we ended up with, $2,214. So that's where there's sale of vehicles and there's sale of equipment, so that's where that came from. And then, miscellaneous revenue, 3506, is that the one we're looking at?
Yes,
Okay, so in this particular line, I removed, the monies that were set aside for the state that are not to be included with, our totals. And what you see here are a combination of voided checks, reconciliation item, credit card balances, and other items where we might have gotten reimbursed. So the 74,141 was the known donation that we placed on that line through the warrant process, and the rest is just miscellaneous, so that's how we got to that. Then, next one, 350605, unanticipated revenues. This is where I moved, and you can see that that number is 350605. The one that we set our revenue projections for ends in 04. So this is the very next line for these other things that come in throughout the year that the board will discuss at a meeting, except and either A, grant that department request to apply it towards, additional funding for them. So, the health trust wellness, the board accepted both of those checks on different dates. You authorize the department to use that for their health and wellness. Bull Memorial had donated, monies raised, they specified they'd like it used towards the welfare
Do you
department.
see how many grants are here for the police department, Lean?
Yes.
With that, with the fire department grant,
Mhm.
is the reason I was questioning you last week, because there are many more here than we had listed.
Correct.
this,
And
this,
that was-
this is the granularity we needed.
This is what I needed, cause now I can see them all.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
It was good, it was a good exercise for you
It
too.
was, and I'm glad we didn't have the meeting last night, because it really gave me a lot of, time to just really analyze the different, accounts and.
Well,
so
I
that
think,
it's-
I think, Lean, these papers here,
Yeah,
when we do the revenue and we do the expenditures quarterly,
Yeah,
we should do this so we can keep track of it.
that's a
A
good
living
idea.
doc, make it a living document.
The reason why is get to the end of the year, we're trying to remember what was in there for revenues
Exactly.
and whether they were used or not.
Quarterly basis on this would be good,
I think.
But
as we do the quarterly revenues.
99% of this is
Yeah.
specific for pass-through, correct?
But, and, you know, I don't know how we can do that, but on another sheet like we do these ones,
Well, I can just
we can
generate.
very easily highlight a pass, you know, the
Yeah,
pass through.
Yeah, and then it would still be fresh in your mind that you had accepted it, or they approached you and said, we want to apply for this
Well, we can
grant.
follow it through the
Yeah.
year and see, okay, we know we're gonna end up with 50 or 70,000 or whatever left over
Yeah.
from this, but right now, we're just shooting in the dark.
Yeah, and then the other thing that gets a little complicated is the police department, when they apply for OHRV grants. That 1980, if you look at the grant proposal, it's $5,000, but it's over July first to July first of the next year.
2 years.
So it's a 2-year, and he has to submit his, request for reimbursement. So it is listed here, but it may be, a bigger total, that was. the
Over
grand
time.
total. Yeah,
And one thing on the block grant for the body cameras,
yeah,
we took that out of our fund originally, right?
That's correct.
Reimbursing ourselves back
Yeah.
for that.
that's right,
It's zero sum game.
okay.
The last page.
And then the last one, we had, this is
No, that's it.
There's a separate one here.
It's a separate one.
petrol care, you
Go
have it?
through this.
It's a, 24.
Okay, so I was noticing on the revenue list that we had 0 collected, and I knew that was incorrect. And I reviewed the statements of the trustee of the trust fund, saw that we did receive the 25-24 in January. So then when I looked at the journal entry, this one was actually posted to a liability account, and it should have been a revenue. So that is, has been corrected so that it reflects on your total revenues as,
So you're looking at the highway block grant now,
highway block grant
you're on 2025, right?
Right.
2025.
It's a single page one that I have.
We have a single sheet on our packet.
That
Oh,
wasn't-
that is the unanticipated, that's completely separate from, and that would be, those do not lapse. I will have to maintain and track those until they're spent. So currently, right now, the 495 is spent. It was a combined, invoice of 123. He used a portion of his budget from the construction and expended that. The, equipment is a, pass-through. John was saying that one line was overspent. He spent actually $54,000. 5 of it was his, or 4, just under 5 was his money from his operating budget, and that was just reimbursed. And it was so similar to the bridge aid, I thought it was one and the same, but it wasn't. So that is one that's still outstanding and does not lapse, and that is the, excess for the,
You know, too bad we couldn't apply it to the Jeffrey Memorial Bridge. We have,
so it was,
you're welcome.
So now you're at actual revenues, Lee?
yes, actual revenues, which was run last night.
Which sheet are you on now, this one, right?
You can either use the one with the notes, diagonal.
Horizontal.
Let's go by the one that's printed by the computer.
Okay, so that one there is 4 pages long.
Okay.
The only change that I made was moving the amounts from the,
Appropriate.
federal to go into the appropriate line, and then on,
And the parentheses are positive.
they're positive, that's correct. And you can see under, let's see, where is that? Added a new account, so sometimes I have to look for it. Grants, insurance, payments. Oh, okay, so on page 3, 3/4 of the way down, there's a single account there, 34119, which is called perpetual care. When we ran the report last week, it showed that we hadn't collected it, so it still showed uncollected balance.
Okay.
100%.
You gotta show us where again.
Page 3,
Three.
3/4 of the way down, it's a single account, 34119, it's called perpetual care maintenance revenue. I had budgeted the 2549, but it showed we hadn't collected it, So I researched it and found that I posted that revenue, when we got it in the bank, to a liability and not a revenue, so we've corrected that. So that is showing in the current year-to-date revenue, there will have been an increase.
Okay.
Okay, so the adjusted balance on page 4, we over collected 297,478, whereas last week, that number reflected 300,000 and some change. Subtract only the town hall restoration, 74,141, so the excess revenue is 223,337 is our final number.
Which can be used to do a tax rate,
Or,
rainy day fund.
yeah, leave it in the surplus or apply it towards your operating budget, so.
Now, Lean, I'm here, with, in the page before that,
Mm-hmm,
page 3, income from all departments.
mm-hmm,
You're at 307,765,
yeah,
and then sale of town property, you're deducting those items, no, you're adding those items.
those are added as well, yeah, an extra 6,500.
Then you're adding, you lose the 65, you're adding there. So you're adding the miscellaneous revenues. So 75 and 83. Where'd the 83 come from? Or the 82, 366?
That is actually, it says miscellaneous, so it's actually adding 75, 484, 659 in that category. So if you take 6539 plus
Okay,
the
yep,
484.
that page,
That
okay.
page, yeah.
Yeah, on that same page.
And so from that page total, then the 297 is,
Is that true total?
so
And
how
then-
is it going down from the 307?
It did because I moved some of those accounts into the unanticipated, so that you had a better understanding, and they weren't included in our actual revenues.
Show me the ones you moved, what are you moving then, trying to follow it here. All the parentheses show it should be going up.
That's correct,
And then comes out
but I believe it was in
No,
the,
that's only 30,000, not 300.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
yeah,
all right, I thought it was 307.
Right.
Okay. I'm good now, Lee, sorry
and
about
then
that.
we would subtract what we know we're allotting for the warrant article, the 74,141.
Yeah,
So that gets us a,
74.
141 is just for the warrant,
Which is the town hall.
yeah? And that leaves us with 223,337.74.
223,
337.
338 if you round it. Which the system rounds, and that's how we use round numbers for the MS forms. So that's excess revenue,
Mm-hmm.
and then as of today, for
We have the lapsing for that.
the expense worksheet, we had 223 there. And 143 on the operating budget.
where are you guys now?
What sheet you gonna do now?
I'm just looking at the bottom line of the expenses, and I let you know that that's been adjusted, so it's a 17% increase, but it's 143,797 is true operating budget lapsing.
So where'd you go back to, where you went to that?
You go to
Flip back to our,
the worksheet, on the back page,
not the revenue.
the budget. Budget is the lines got cut off, but it's budget worksheet, expenditures.
Is it this one there?
Yeah. Does it say revenues at the top or expenditures?
Mine says it's cut off expenditures.
Okay, so the last page, as of last night, I updated the actual column, and we're at 143,797 lapsing.
So you're taking 143,797.
Yeah, plus the 223,338.
What was it, 338?
338 to round, yeah. So that's a surplus of 367,134.
135, yeah.
367.
135.
134, I rounded. up. 143, 5.
in my manually.
3671347.
135, yeah, 74, but the system and the DRA uses round number, so it's 367,135
Okay.
is surplus.
And that's still after we increased our budget another 50,000 for the maintenance.
No,
No,
that's just
that's
working on
end of
last
the
year's
year.
revenue,
That's in the year.
end of year. So then if you
Now we have to,
apply that,
now we have to look at the, what our budget for this year is.
revenues,
Take that out of 327.
Right. Now, we have a 17% increase, correct?
Yeah, that's what I have, we had already done that.
Right. We have 17% increase, now we can take that, the surplus, and, do our math on it, do the magic on it. Because we wanna keep some in reserve for a rainy day, fund, make sure that's
So-
appropriate.
Is our actual budget correct on this, sheet now?
yes. The
So our
expenses,
budget is 26, no,
327.
3272010.
yeah.
The one thing I do wanna point out though is our projected revenues for this year is actually less than what we had budgeted for last year, but I have to. Again, that's including the changes from the budget.
You didn't give us more of the overall on the digit and like you normally do.
For the worksheet on the revenues,
Well, you normally do our budget and our worksheet.
We haven't got there.
no, I haven't done that.
We can do that another week.
Yeah, the
I
other
think this
thing,
coming Thursday,
the other thing too is our projected budget increased from our original, so I wanna figure out what we had
Right, 'cause
originally
in
proposed.
October, you mean?
Yes, and that increase is going to offset what our budget number versus what our requested, you know how we kept it pretty flat?
Yes.
And we increased just the one in the
Yeah.
transfer station recycling, where our projected is, 1,129,046. So I wanna get the true number of where we were. what
Yeah,
we
because
proposed.
our budget changed because they added additional revenues to it,
That's
so it
right.
actually went lower.
Right, so the system now reads it as 1,268,730, so it looks like there's, over $100,000, almost 200 less
Less,
for this projection, but I wanna look at what we
Yeah, look at the
proposed.
numbers you did
We
it
do-
with in the beginning.
so we'll get a summary budget this coming week.
So proposed,
So you should be able to go back to your front page.
Yep.
From all those budget lines that they changed on us.
correct,
Take that total, deduct it from our budget.
that's right, for the revenues, then you'll
Just check
know,
it.
if it's a flat revenue increase,
Yeah.
then, that's what we're projecting to offset, and then that deducted from the operating budget, plus what you decide to do with the surplus.
We
We'll give you a final
wanna
number.
maintain a good, healthy rainy day fund.
Yeah, because she doesn't wanna go over our existing budget because that had changed in October, so.
Right,
And I think there's one thing in the past, auditors always said we're always healthy because we don't have any bonds, we have a bond now. And so we have to maintain a good health reserve, so we don't run out of money to pay it. Okay,
so I'll get those numbers for the third.
Lean, I'm more than satisfied with the work you put into this.
Okay.
Dave?
I'm slightly less satisfied.
Thank
Justin? You good? Okay. The thing
That's
is-
much clearer for us to read, Lean, and that's what,
And it takes some time to understand, and Justin, you're the new person, so the thing is, sometimes it looks like gobbledygook, but the thing is, it's a process.
Right.
It's a process.
And then within, there's always monitoring, making a journal adjustment entries, the department heads help us, by pointing out transactions that were posted to their department when they didn't belong, so there's a lot of oversight of referencing, cross-referencing, and I will get those final numbers for this Thursday.
Okay, we're gonna continue on to the, a donation. We have a pending donation of, $40,000 to the Dunbarton Town Hall Restoration Project. It's gonna have to be done in a public hearing, from Tom and Karen Casano. Two benefactors of the town, so that will be, publicly noticed, Lean, and we'll put on the agenda.
we do it right at this meeting like we always do.
Well, anything, the RSA says over 10,000 has to be, in the newspaper, a
Oh.
public notice.
It's gotta be noticed.
So I'd like to do that, so it's above board and then,
And specifically, let's talk what that's going through, Dave, if you can talk to that. It's-
I don't think we have to do this donation, the reason why is that money went to the 501c, that's not our town.
oh, okay, all right.
So,
And that's what I wanted to clarify.
501c
We're not accepting it personally.
That's right.
It's
So it's going to
to,
the restoration committee.
but what this board needs to
I
do,
sent you an email to
Right.
print out.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
got it.
you have it there, and,
Why don't you pull it out and I'll talk to that now?
so basically, this board has to decide if you accept their donation for the work that they wanna improve over there.
All we have to do is really approve the bid that they got on the sound system.
It's the paperclip one, right there, that.
Cause it's good.
So you're not getting the money itself, it's going to the.
So I went to a meeting this week, where the town hall restoration committee met. In this room, we had a Zoom meeting with the company that's gonna do the lighting and sound system for the town hall. And that, is all coming through a donation that the Casanos, Tom and Kieran had done. And I asked them to provide a cover sheet, for this meeting, which I have in here, and I'll read, and, this dollar amount for this sound system that they had worked on with this company to prepare for upstairs included all of the lighting, the column speakers to go in front of the stage. It included, 2 handheld mics and 2 mics that you clip on your shirts. All that can be used for town meetings or any other meeting we conduct up there for larger groups. It also included all the brackets for that stuff to be mounted properly. And it also included the lighting for the stage, for the front and back of the stage, and also included a Panasonic projector that would be the same color as the ceiling that will come down. And all the hardware, to set that, and all the hardware to install it,
Will include a screen too?
including the screen, was $36,126. And, this is the estimate, they've been working with this company for quite a while to do this project, and they reviewed it with the town hall restoration committee. Everybody was in favor of it, and they wanted to provide the money directly to 501c, which we said we didn't have a problem with it. I have from the meeting a picture of the speakers that they're providing to put on the wall. And, they did a quick little mock-up of our stage with the meetings, and they're also providing those monitors. Those monitors, in case somebody is performing up there, they can hear their sound back towards them.
I like the one that's in that packet, they actually have it all set up with tables.
Yeah.
So John Wiggins always said that he is looking for some place to hold a regional meeting, and the table setup would work for a larger scale meeting.
The letter's in here somewhere.
So the thing is, essentially, the money's gonna go to the, 501c,
they'll be cutting the checks directly.
to us, to the company.
Vendor, yeah.
And so we're out of it.
We are, but because we control the building, we have to accept their bid.
Well, I have no problem with that, that's, and it keeps it a little bit less complicated with them accepting it.
Let me read this letter out loud for the benefit of the public. This is from Tom and Karen Casano, 10 Old Fort Lane, Dunbarton, New Hampshire. Reason for this letter is a donation of the stage area updates, including AV, lighting, and more. To the Dunbarton Town Hall Restoration Committee, to whom it may concern, we are happily donating funds of $40,000 to the Dunbarton Town Hall Restoration Project in an effort to ensure the completion of the second floor stage area and to allow future use. These funds can be used for needs identified and prioritized by the Dunbarton Town Hall Restoration Committee with support of the town select board. The top priority is identifying is to install stage lighting, audio and video, AV equipment, and curtains and seating to the second floor area. We have included a bid for some of the work as well as curtains. Previous funds of $10,000 were donated in 2022. to cover the drywalling in that area, as well as some of the electrical work and other needs to be prepared for the sound and lighting equipment. We are very thankful to be in a position to help to support the town that has given us and our family so much over the years. Our love and dedication to the town of Dunbarton and its citizens is hard to put in words. We have felt welcomed and been supported in so many in times of need. It truly is a blessing to be able to give back to such a worthwhile venture that will surely last for years to come. Sincerely, Tom and Karen.
Thank you for sharing that, Dave, that was nice.
So, they've done some in-depth work on getting this stuff lined up for us there. One thing's for sure, I think that the area up there will have the correct amount of lighting and sound. I did reiterate that all of those uses up there will go through Lean's office, whether she gives it to Joe Marie or does it herself. The AV portion of this with the sound system, Shelley has, stated that she will work on that. We'll get volunteers within the town that understand the whole system, same as they do for the school system. So you won't have to worry about that end of it at all, so that takes that off of our hands.
What about the, refinishing? That's one thing.
Let me get to that.
Okay.
The first thing is, they mentioned, they had another bid here,
Might be in that packet.
it should be in this packet. They had a bid here for the, curtains, and what it included was a front curtain, as well as a black back curtain. And that black back curtain was just to cover the windows in case there was a daytime play or something to that effect. So they can be open, they're all in sliding rails. They had a bid here, that I just saw just before I sent it to Lean, of $28.84. So out of that $40,000, the 501c plans to pay the $28.84 and the 36. Whatever balance is left there, they'll probably use for the electrical. They wanna hire the company that we've done, for the rest of the building to do the electrical work that's needed for this.
Okay.
Pull-down projector, for the screen, and for the, sound system where they're gonna plug the speakers in. So, they're gonna take whatever's left out of the $10,000. We know we spent $3,200 and change on the drywall material only. I've checked with the drywall, he's back in town next week, he's gonna schedule that right away. And then after that, we're gonna look at painting the walls and the ceiling, and then refinishing the floor with any of the balance of that money.
Okay, fair enough.
So those are the things, so we really just need to, send them back in consensus from the board if you guys want
We're fully support, Jason, fully support.
Okay.
Okay.
of that, and I don't see anything that we need to sign.
No.
Or accept, we don't need to accept that bid?
No.
On behalf of the town, just.
No, it's not the town, it's the 501c.
Yeah.
So
We
they-
just need to, they want our support to
It just has
accept
They
it.
just want the support.
We're overseeing the installation, in other words, if there's a problem with installation, we can chime in as opposed to.
So, here's that back, Mike.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Okay, any other comments on town hall restoration?
Let's see, what else?
Lee did send a notice to the, architect regarding the drainage of the flat roof.
I saw that, thanks for sending that out.
We haven't received anything
I
back.
haven't gotten any response.
The architect was supposed to meet on site today for a final walkthrough for the punch list, and because of the storm, they pushed it off to next Friday.
Okay.
So, I know they're installing bath hardware, mirrors and grab bars and all that. The painting was finished last weekend inside there. The flooring is all completely done. They're gonna be putting on the front doors early next week, so we can get the picture from the outside.
Okay.
And I got an update from the electrician, the electrical panel, that was back ordered till the 18th of this month.
Yes.
Company called it back ordered to March. He told him to cancel the order. He went with Square D with another company, and he's supposed to have that panel next week. So he he's gonna basically take that panel out, throw it out, or give it back to them, but he canceled the order after waiting over a year and still not having the product. So, he should be able to finish up the wiring, then we can do the tests on the elevator and whatnot.
This is, in fact, close to it, but that's what we're shooting for, something like that with better doors.
Better
And,
doors than
and
pavement.
Yeah, okay, but something like that. Okay, thank you for the
Now,
update.
Dave, you mentioned that, Mary had found a photo, or was that you?
I did, there's an old photo, before.
I haven't seen that, it wasn't part of my email.
I
All right,
haven't seen it either, but it would be interesting to show that now, and then maybe on the back.
Yeah,
side,
it was
then.
pre-fire back in the turn of the century.
I can ask Mary for that.
Okay,
Yeah, if you can forward it to all of us, Lee.
Yep, I will.
but it's uncanny how it's so similar.
Okay,
And the only thing I remember in the picture, they're all wearing top hats.
so we're gonna have to get top hats.
Exactly.
Oh, that would be cool.
Okay. All right, moving on now. We have, town clerk gave us some stuff to sign. What do we have here?
Appointment papers.
Appointment papers.
Got them in here.
Yeah, it's absolutely correct. We have, I'm gonna read that, so we wanna avoid, first one is, appoint Nickel Holly to the Dunbar, to the Board of Assessors with a, term ending March 17th, 2023, and this is to fill a vacancy. That's an elected position, correct, Lean?
Correct.
So then she fulfills that elected position, then she can run, she'll be on the ballot with likely if she wants to pursue it.
Yeah.
So, so I make a motion to appoint Nicole Holly to the Board of Assessors with a term ending March 17th, 2023.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
I'll third it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
What's that? There's another one?
Nice to see somebody step up.
Should be a good asset to the group. He's got real estate background, so he'll understand assessing and whatnot.
Yeah. All right, then the second appointment papers, we have, this is not an elected, why is it term ending 2023 for 3 months?
She puts them, they all are up for a 1 year,
For the Dunbarton Old Home Day Committee?
the whole committee is appointed for 1 year, so.
Okay, so this is, to appoint Megan, I can't pronounce it. Morrow of Dunbarton to the Dunbarton Old Home Day Committee with the term ending March 2023. So I make a motion to appoint her.
I'll second.
I'll third it.
Okay, regarding this discussion now, this is, again, Lean said, this is for 3 months, and then she'll, 2 months really,
Right,
and then she'll be, have to be reappointed and,
and after town meeting, so Linda wanted to get her on record as a committee member, so in the event they meet and they make a motion or make any decisions, she'll be a valid.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, got those done. All right, inbox now. Interesting, some personnel changes at the transfer station. Woody sent an appropriate email, I support Woody, on this discussions. You should read that, interesting reading.
I, got a call from Ed Wooten as well. Just before he called Woody, he said he'd like to stay on with us like he has been doing in the past. In case, we need him back next year, and also if we need him to do any additional plowing, he's willing to come in. I know that in Woody's email, he said that he doesn't wanna take his plowing away from his guys, but if somebody's sick or whatever, Eddie would just like to stay on.
So keep them active?
Yes.
That's
Keep
fine.
active on arrows.
And I told Woody I'd also, make a call into Eddie because he did not upgrade his,
Recertified.
recertified.
That's an issue because he cannot work as
And I wanna make sure he knows I let him know that.
Okay.
fair enough. All right, there was a, chief of police sent me a notice regarding, a complaint from Mike Guiney on the plowing situation. And the thing is, I've discussed it with the road agent, I've discussed it, at length with the chief of police, and I shared copies with you gentlemen. There's a video with it, just be situationally aware, and, at this point, there's no action to be taken.
before we go into non-public, we have a request from the building inspector that he would like to meet with the board for an update of today's, activities.
Just now that you, do the introduction on that one.
So there'll be two non-publics that will be entered.
Okay.
Anything else in the?
I believe that's it, it's the town report, that is the same also. But it was, it's the way, get it Thursday. Okay.
I'm gonna say this one's gonna be C, Mike.
Okay.
What we'll have to do is ask the public if they have any other.
Oh, absolutely, I'm gonna go around. Leo, thank you for your flexibility in coming in today, appreciate it. Okay. And, I was reminded by more than one person to give you a call.
I got a couple questions.
Sure.
Sitting and listening to this on the town hall. When these items that they was alluding to, like the architect, at that point, the upstairs will be usable?
No, the upstairs will not be usable, basically, we're pending the, issue of the license for the, elevator and the lift.
Okay, but
The state has to come
once,
in,
if you get that license, then
yeah,
you basically have
schedule a meeting with Lee.
a occupancy permit.
Yes. What I'm
Like
gonna
you
do,
in a
Jeff,
house, or you get an occupancy permit to occupy, and it meets all the
Yep.
life safety stuff for the fire department.
yeah,
Is there a limit on the number of people that can be up there, or is it
250.
open-ended? 250?
yeah, 225 in the main room, 25 on the stage.
For a full house?
And that's by the calculation
Yeah.
of, square footage that's allowed in a public place that's been done by the architect. I thought it was high, and I made.
Sounds like a lot.
I made the architect go back and redo his calculation.
Well, maybe it was when people were like.
And he sent me back,
I was thinking that.
he sent me back an email, and,
Maybe a bunch of Leos, but.
but they have a square footage calculation, they have that. And, the fire department's been reviewing everything as we go. So we have a couple things that need to be done, there's gonna be a state elevator inspection.
Yeah.
Once we get that panel in, and then they're gonna test the sprinkler system, and then refill that. So those are the only two things that I know will hold us up, and if need be, if that panel takes a little while, we may have a soft opening where people can go into the first floor of the library.
Yeah, what we plan on doing is, what Dave alluded to, more than a soft opening, the downstairs, Mary's been, activities have been meeting downstairs historically for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
We wanna, if we're waiting on just the elevator permit, for example, we're still gonna open the downstairs so Mary can continue activities.
But I think it's actually all gonna happen at once, because everything's lining up that way.
Well, that's fine, I was just curious. Now, but having said that, moving forward, is the selectmen set up, or are you carrying a maintenance line? Because if you start using that, you're gonna need to
We've already-
clean it, you're gonna need
we've
to
already-
replace things.
We've already addressed the cleaning by increasing our cleaning budget.
Okay, I know that's gonna, you got like a maintenance line for that, you got stages, you got lighting and all that.
And the thing is, and there'll probably be, we were considering maybe a refundable deposit for damages.
Yeah, I really, seriously, cause things do happen.
Right.
I mean, we're sitting here saying it, so, most of the people that are probably gonna rent this are pretty respectful, and they've got an interest in the building anyway, but as
Well,
time
we
goes
were-
on,
We were considering
Things
users,
do wear.
we were considering users fee, and it is a town asset, we want town, people to use it.
yeah.
So what we want, but we wanna protect, how do you protect it? With a refundable deposit for damages.
Yeah.
And if an organization uses it, I think Dave pointed out, they use it one time, they screw it up for any reason,
Yeah.
that's the last time they'll use it.
Yeah, but I was just thinking, cause it is gonna suffer some amount of wear and tear, and
Absolutely.
after a function is there, somebody's gonna be responsible for cleaning it.
Yeah.
Because people typically, even if you tell them pick up after yourselves, a lot of times it doesn't happen. And I hate to see a bunch of volunteers have to, get burdened down with every time somebody uses the site.
We've anticipated an increase to our clean line, right?
I have not increased my clean line, it's covering this office only, just. so
Okay,
the board
well, obviously, we're gonna have to.
May have to absorb it in the building maintenance. Or.
I thought we had asked to do that.
Yeah.
Cause we had made the discussion,
We
talking
talked
about
about
that,
that.
cause I
Okay,
had
Mine
mentioned
covers,
that.
mine covers 52
You still
weeks
have time
plus
to change
300.
that or not?
Yeah, I do, Yeah.
So I would say do the same as you have for this building, because,
What, it's like 6,000 for this bill,
yeah, it's 150,
150 a week.
and the reason, is it a week or a month?
Okay,
We've talked about that, and
okay.
about increasing it, and then not getting a quote just yet till it was finished.
Okay,
The only reason I
Because he
say
wanted
that,
to have Ed clean it up, or have the
Yeah, we're gonna
transfer
do a general
station
cleaning first.
clean up, and then have him take a
That's
look at
already
it and give us a
in place,
price.
currently I have, you want it to move it up to 10,000? Yeah, I have 8,100, which includes 52 weeks and 300 for cleaning the carpets. So you rounded it up to 10?
I think we need to go a
So
little
what
bit
was
higher.
it?
And
Is that
then
set now?
heating and maintenance, add monitoring service, was 5,000, maybe I missed those, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're looking at maybe 7,000, 1,900 and.
Cause you were gonna have it cleaned up before you got.
Right, that's how we done.
Just so we can, cause that,
We don't
same
wanna,
thing, maybe,
we don't wanna intimidate the cleaners when they stop the
I'll verify these two
construction
account
project.
numbers.
it's maybe part of the user fee.
Yeah.
thing when we
It
think
would be an
about all that.
increase of just under 6,000. Because there was an increase for janitor, to bump it up from 81 to 10 on my last week's notes. And then you had here heating maintenance, add monitoring services for the elevator?
No, monitoring services, do you remember the company gave us a quote of $338?
Yeah, I shouldn't have brought my $1,000 up to 5, though.
Cause you were gonna separate accounts.
Yeah, you're putting all your monitoring
Okay.
for all buildings
All right,
in a
let me
separate.
review that. I may have taken care of that one. I'm just gonna double check this one.
Okay.
And I did create a separate line. I know I did that.
Thank you, Jeff, for just raising
No,
the issue.
yeah, I was just curious.
No, it's something we discussed, but we wanna make sure it's in the budget.
So the reason why I wanna clean that weekly too, when they do this building is, the simple fact that they put a tile on the first floor, and the second floor has a wood laminate floor. But those, other than a rug that's put in there when you're walking over it, there's nothing to stop that tile from getting all slushy and everything in the winter months.
I can see buying some, indoor outdoor, carpet.
Well, Larry's already done that, so they've already got some of those, but they're like a warthog water
Right,
trucks, they're not like made to clean your feet, so.
Okay.
And the doors are all out swings, you can't really set something in front of the door outside, so it's kind of a,
Of a learning process.
it's a learning process, and it's something that needs to be cleaned weekly, just as this is.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought, if I had to do it again, I would've made them do those 2x2 squares of carpet that you can stick a knife in and replace them as
Yeah.
need be.
As
Because
you-
that would've cleaned their feet as they were kind of walking in the entryway, but I'm not the architect, and that's what the architect put in, so.
we'll get around it.
Okay.
Okay,
I did miss that. I'll add the 50 to the government building. I'll make the, I'll rename the heating maintenance and include the wording monitoring, move the funds in there. And then,
and just make sure the funds add up.
And so
increase.
that's a couple thousand for all the monitoring.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then increase the janitor services. You said you wanted same number of weeks?
I think we should only to start
Just to make, we can cut back if we have to.
Yeah.
Okay,
I have one other thing
Okay.
about my roof.
yes,
My repair I did to it is holding up with the wind and stuff, because it's fine, but it's a farmer repair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, so we really,
no, we got,
we might be able to repair it better, when the weather gets good, and a professional comes in, they might be able to give you that advice, hey, we can repair this, or you need to replace the whole roof, or maybe you can repair it for a few years and come up with a long-term. But it's got a rolled roofing on it now, I don't know what other options we have on a flat pitch roof like that.
Not much other options on that.
Yeah, so I mean, and it's lasted probably 20 years, 25 years, I'm not sure.
we anticipate, we're planning on that.
Yeah.
Your roof and the fire department, and this one, we have 3 roofs we have to deal with.
Yeah, but I know the fire station.
Why don't you have Jeff do the fire department?
I think I live it down. All right, I just wanted to share that with you, it's.
No, that's, we situation
You
where,
get, when the weather's good, the professional looks at it.
Absolutely.
Let's save, let's save.
yeah. Okay, anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Lean to you? Okay, Dave to you,
I've done everything during the meeting.
Justin to you.
Just that the planning board met Wednesday night, we updated our workforce housing ordinance, we all voted on that, that's gonna go to town meeting this March.
So I'll be adding that before the operating budget at the top.
Yep.
And you get that information from,
I'm doing one thing
hearing and no public showed up, so.
Okay,
I went as the selectman's rep to the, CIP meeting, Jeff was also there. It was a preliminary meeting where everybody's got their kind of marching orders to go back to their departments and see what they need for long-term strategy. And, I think it was gonna go up to 2029. If I remember right, but anyway, so it's long-term needs for the town, that all the departments are gonna be able to flag out, so we make sure that these, CIP, things are all lined up, and we're putting the appropriate amount of money in them every year, to actually fund things properly instead of
kicking it down the can.
kicking it down. And, Donna presented the update, she's the chair for it, and she did a good job laying it all out.
Okay, thank you. I have two things. First of all, in the past, the police department would make notifications of crimes across town and leave the names out. We're one of the few departments across, the state of New Hampshire which leaves the names out. And, we've been challenged on that by news media. News media has a right to know by public request, so the police department's changing their, they're getting in line with majority of police departments across the state of New Hampshire. They will release the names when they make public comments to newspapers. However, there are exceptions if it involves minors or mental health issues, they're still protected by law. However, there's gonna be a release of names for arrests made in Dunbarton. And he's just making us more compliant, or say consistent with other police departments across the state. Lastly, I have not heard about the conservation acceptance of land for closing, and I need to have that because I gotta make sure I'm available in town when I decide documents, so.
On that note, I have been conversing with Steve on that, we have a final dollar. I just got approval from the, treasurer, we'll do a one-time wire transfer, so that, but she was requiring that the transfer be moved to a law firm, we've confirmed that. I have the routing number, checking account, and so that will probably take place on Monday to set it up, but it will all depend on your availability and that.
You just gotta, my machine is always on, keep me informed, I just don't wanna miss it, and the thing is, the 23rd was a penalty date
Yeah.
for the Conservation Commission, and they didn't wanna lose, get penalized.
I don't
That's Monday.
I don't think that was an issue. The thing that was holding up, our attorney is the deed. He wanted deed in hand so that he had, once we paid, the deed to be signed and taken to the registry for filing.
Okay,
So that's
so
what's
it
holding us
may
up.
come to fruition Monday.
I don't think Monday will be, Monday was probably be too soon, but we're probably looking at midweek next week.
Okay. And, that's all I have. Generally, we're gonna go non-public, we're gonna, make a motion to go non-public for RSA 91-Alpha, Roman numeral 3, subparagraph 2.